All right. So, hey, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Raising Noire Twins. So, if you've listened to some of my other podcasts, I usually at the end, I'm asking questions on how, uh, like the dad perspective, like how is it on their end, their experiences and stuff, because everybody seems to know about mine since this is my podcast. But I'm always curious on like how they're affected and like how it has changed their lives. So I'm so excited today because I actually have someone here that has twins and that is willing to share his experience with us. So without further ado, go ahead. I'm just let you introduce yourself and how they can reach you on social media. So
Yep, I'm Shawn, last name Singh, or I also go by Perpinder, my government name for people who know me. And then I'm mostly reachable on Instagram. I have Facebook, but I rarely use it. It's there for family reasons.
Right.
Yeah. So Instagram, bearded underscore gent 521. You can reach me there. Reach out to me if you have questions or just want to follow me. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So first and foremost, okay, you have boy-girl twins, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so what are their names and how old are they?
So my daughter's name is Emery, and my son's
Oh,
name is Elijah, and they are going to be turning 7 this May.
damn. Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So you like deep in the game. I'm still new.
I got time in the game. Yeah, I've got some years under my
Right.
belt with them. So
Right. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
So I have to know, like, what was your first reaction when you found out that you were having twins? Like you were gonna be a dad to twins. Like, what was that like?
Um, at first, I was like shocked because at first we thought it was just one, and then I remember it like I was making some food and she was like, "Oh, my stomach hurts." Like, what if it's two? And I was like, "Well, why would you say that?" Like,
Right.
and then and then um and then I was eating dinner one day, and then she slid like the picture, the sonogram over, and it was like a picture. I guess they took, and it was like these two dots, and I was like, "Well, what's this?" And she was like, "Well, you see those two dots there? That's two." And I just had a moment where I just didn't say anything because I was just like, in my head, I was trying to process. Wait, what? Two? Like
Right.
we got two coming down? Like, man. So I went for because she already had a son at the time, but I didn't have any kids, so I went from 0 to 1. Now it's two. So
Right.
so I just sat there for a minute or two, kind of try to process this through my head. Like I got two on the way now. So, so it was a moment of kind of like shock and like, wow, I got two now coming. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you. Like that's the exact same thing. Like, we thought it was just one, and because our ultrasound appointment and the our first initial appointment, they're two separate ones. I thought it was all going to be together. So they just let us hear the heartbeat the first time. We were just like, damn, that's a strong ass heartbeat. Like, it was like we got a healthy ass
Yeah.
baby in there. And so like when we went back, I think it was the following week, and it was like as soon as she put the little thing on my belly, she was like, "Oh, yo, there's two in there." And I was like, "Whoa, back it up."
Yeah, two.
But
Like,
yeah, I was not prepared for that. I was like mentally processing one. I was like, you know what, I got this. I got this.
yeah, you're like one, okay, I can, one, okay, yeah. But then when you get hit with two, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Like,
crazy. And then
yeah.
yeah, it's hard when you start out when they're both obviously babies. It's a lot of work. As they get older, I mean, it's always going to be a lot of work until they're grown. But as they get older, it gets a little bit easier to handle them and do things because they get a little bit more self-sufficient as they get older.
Okay,
But
that's good. I was gonna ask you that. I was like,
yeah,
does it get easier? Please tell me it does.
I mean, they're best friend. I mean, it's nice because they have each other, so they can play with each other. They're
Yes.
like best friends, but then they're also going to go at each other and be
Yeah.
fighting and screaming, and it's just you got to play
Yeah.
referee, and it's just like
Right.
so. Yeah, it gets easier in some departments, but others you're just like,
Right. Oh my gosh. So like once you found out that you had you have twins coming and all this stuff, whatever. So they always say that like moms, they go through like this little nesting phase where it's like, okay, I gotta get everything prepared. It's like you almost kind of innately know that, oh, they're coming. Like it's almost time. So
yeah. So we
did you
were.
feel like you did that? Like you kind of had your little phase, or like both of you guys, or how did you guys prepare?
Yeah, so yeah, she was really good about being on top of that, like making got to have two of everything now, and
Yeah.
we got to get ready to crib, and The apartment we were in, we moved to a townhome so they could have their own room. Even though at the beginning, I mean, you think, oh yeah, let's get a bigger, but really, they really slept with us a lot, or I should say me, because they would always lay on top of me. It didn't bother me. So
Yeah.
for her, she couldn't have, like, she was uncomfortable, like not like when she's sleeping, like to have them just pass out and just like I would be on the couch laid out with, one of them and just, that would be our thing. So
Yeah.
it did, but because they slept when they were little, they slept in the like with us in the bed for the most part. They were in the crib a little bit, but a lot of times they would sleep with us. So yeah, you have to have two of everything now, and then it's not easy. It's when you have like identical twins, like two boys or two girls. Oh, I can just get the same thing, same with each,
Right, yeah.
But when you have a boy and a girl, you're like, okay, I gotta get her this, and I gotta get him that. So it's like you gotta get. I was like, oh man. So it was a lot, like for twins. Like that's why I was like, I don't know how people do it with like having triplets or quadruplets. I'm like,
I know. If people ask us like, oh, how you do with twins? I'm like, I mean, it's different. Well, honestly, I guess we really don't know any better. I mean, any different. You know what I mean? It's just like,
exactly.
This is our life. But I see like on Instagram and stuff, and I see people with like 3 like triplets or quadruplets. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can handle one more. I just don't think I can do it.
Exactly. And people always ask me, are you gonna have more? I'm like, more? I'm like,
no.
I had 2 at one time. Like they're at the age, when I had them, like, what, they're gonna be 18 when I'm still in my 30s, so I'll be like what, early 40s or 40, somewhere around there when they'll graduate high school. Yeah, because I had them at when I was 28. So yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to be I never wanted to be an old dad. So I told myself if I got to like 35, 36, I wasn't going to have kids.
Look. I hear you, but my ass done waited till I was 33. So I'm like, I'm gonna be the old mom in the preschool classroom. No.
Yeah, because I can't, like, after a certain age, it's like, when you're like, because there's guys out there having kids and they're like 40s, 50s. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I'm trying to live.
At that point, yeah, exactly. At that point, I'm trying to be somewhere, relaxing, not worried about anybody.
Right. I hear you 100%.
Yeah, because I was just like, it was a lot though, but it does get easier. I mean, my daughter thinks she's grown, of course, and she's in everyone's business. She'll tell you all the business. Right. You don't have to ask her. You don't have to ask her.
She just don't volunteer that information, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she'll ask you a million questions, and then she'll know everything, and then she'll and she remembers everything. If you tell her you're gonna do something, and she'll be like, "Oh, you said you were gonna do this." Right. And I was like, because they both have different personalities. So my son, he's more reserved, chill. He just wants to do his own thing and not be bothered.
Yeah, I have one like that too.
Yeah, like he doesn't really bother. He gets upset about stuff easily. He's a little bit more emotional than she is. She's more outgoing than he is, and she likes to press people's buttons sometimes, which she does with him a lot. So, so it's like going back and forth with them, trying to tell her not to do that. So but yeah, because but then I like you said, we don't know anything else besides having 2 at once. So it's like I imagine, man, if it was just one, they'd be by themselves. Like I'd have to you have to do with
a
just one.
Exactly.
As far as entertaining them, spending time with them.
Right.
Which so I mean, I love spending time with both of them, but it's just with at least when I'm busy or I'm working, when they're home, they have each other to play with and do things with. So it's not just like they're sitting there by themselves, being bored. So
right, and they be having a ball over there. I'm like, what y'all doing? I'm like, y'all talking about me? No. It's like, Mama crazy.
Yeah, but, I mean, these days and age, kids, they know how to use technology so good. So my daughter, she knows how to use my phone fully. So she'll call her mom, or she'll be on YouTube watching her videos. So they can entertain themselves pretty much when I'm working at home and stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Did you feel like they had like their own little language at one point, like when they were starting to learn how to talk and stuff, or do you think that's something?
Yeah, they kind of. It's like they kind of like walk with each other or come over to each other, and like they can't talk, so they're just saying these noises, and they're like, okay, follow me, and you start going. They kind of go their own direction with each other,
right?
And it's like they know what they want to do, so they just do it. Like they don't have to speak. It's like, so it's
it's funny. It's so funny to watch them. Like, oh, y'all are like
exactly
really communicating.
yeah, exactly. Like they're so they'll have that bond for life, and they'll have each other. And I always tell them that, like, when they're fighting with each other or doing so, I'm like, guys, you got to have each other's back, because you guys are each other's best friends. Like,
Yeah.
when you get older, you're gonna have to have each other's back because I say, like, I'm not gonna be there every moment of your life,
Yeah,
so
true.
you're gonna have to have each other's back, and they'll have that person to grow up with and go through life with
Yeah.
too. So
Man, that's crazy. But so I did an episode that was on like mom guilt, right? And so have you heard about mom guilt? Have you heard
yeah,
like kind of like what
yeah,
it's about and all this stuff? So would you say that you kind of experienced that because you seem like a really hands-on father, like you're very involved in everything like that. And so it's like those moments where you just like, oh, I just want to do some adult time, like I need adult time, or like, or just I just need like 10 minutes by myself or something,
yeah.
like do you feel like, oh
I
man, I
feel it.
feel guilty, like I should be playing with my babies or I should be doing this, or like how does that
Yeah,
translate
like,
for you?
yeah. I mean, I think every parent goes through that where they just like at some point they're just like, I just want some me time, and they kind of feel bad about it. But I mean, you got to take time for yourself too as a parent. You can't,
Yeah.
I'm fully involved with my kids' lives and doing things with them, being there for them. But at the same time, I understand that, I do need my time to myself. But then see, I split 50-50 with their mom, so we each get a week on, a week off.
Okay.
So we each get our week, to have our time. So when I
Yeah.
have them for my week, that's all about them,
Mm-hmm.
and I do things with them and things like that. Um, I do. There was I think 2 weeks ago where they were with their mom. I picked my son up to do something with him because take him to the dinosaur thing.
Yeah.
Just me and him, because it's important.
That's cool.
It,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. We try to work in like having individual time with them
Mm-hmm.
because as much as we do stuff with together, they need their individual time just one on one
Yeah.
with us
Yeah.
because
That's
it gives
important.
them their time for just with them. It's just to focus on them instead of two at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, so me and him did that. Took him to the little dinosaur drive-through thing they got going on here.
Yeah. Cool.
And then so it was their mom's week, and I was getting ready to leave and go out, and I guess her mom was there, so she finally had someone to watch the kids on her time, so she could
Yeah.
go out with her friends for her friend's birthday. And
Yeah.
my daughter kept asking her questions, and then the whole time she was getting ready, she like put a guilt trip on her, like
Yeah. Okay.
you're like she was crying and making faces like
Yeah.
you're leaving me,
Yeah.
and then I was getting ready to go home and get ready too, and then she's like hugging me and I
Yeah.
want you to stay. And I almost, and she, that's my baby. So I was feeling so bad, like, oh, but I was just like, and I almost didn't go, but I was like, look, baby, I'm going to see you in a couple days. This is your time with your mom. I know
Yeah.
she's going out, but your grandma's here. She'll be back. You're going to do, she's going to do stuff with her tomorrow and stuff like that. And, but I understand where my daughter was coming from because they're so used to us not like when we're with them, that's all about them. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
going out getting a babysitter. I always felt bad at it. Like friends would call me, hey, we're doing this, let's go out, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, my friends know that when I have my kids, that's time with
Yeah,
them.
that's
Now, if I
it.
can bring
Yeah.
like if we're gonna go out somewhere and have like food or drinks, it's a restaurant. If I can bring the kids, I'll come with them,
Yeah.
because it's a restaurant. But if we're like going out drinking, I can't do that because my kid, and they know that. Like
Right,
they'll hit me
right.
up. And I'll be like, oh, I got the kids, I'm with the kids, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe next week when I'm free. And they know,
Yeah.
they understand that because I've always felt bad. I've always thought about that, like, where I don't think I could just say, hey, dad's going out and here's your baby, like,
Yeah.
and because that's my time with them. That's where I've thought about that. And I always got that guilty feeling. I could never do that
Mm-hmm.
as a father because I love spending time with them. And most parents aren't the same. Most parents do like, oh, I need my time when you get a babysitter, which I totally get. But for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
yeah, for me, and I think it would be different if like if me and their mom were, which we have a great relationship, just,
Mm-hmm.
we're not together. We have a great relationship, but if we were, I think it would be different because then we would have all the time, 24/7.
Right, yeah.
Then it's different. I think that's different. Where it's like, okay, we need to have like a date night or something and get
Yeah,
out. Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's different. But as a single parent, it's different because I know I have my time to myself and then I have my
Mm-hmm.
time with them. So I
Yeah.
know I'll have my week. So I don't get too worried about oh, I have to have them. And there's times where I've had them for a length of time because of
Mm-hmm.
issues going on with their mom where she couldn't have them. And that's fine because
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. Full time parent mode, which is fine. And I've done it a couple of times. And at those times where it's like, okay, I was like, after a minute, I'm like, oh, man, like I just need a minute or a night, just rest. But
Right.
then,
Like, can I get a breather? Just a
yeah,
minute.
yeah, just a minute, but then I'm like, I'm doing this for a reason. So I was like, okay, I'll be all right. And I'm a social, I don't really, some people can just like grab a drink at home and chill. Like I'm a social person, a social drinker. So like
Yeah.
I'll have a bottle in my cabinet sitting there for months on end because I don't have anyone to drink with,
Right.
so and maybe once in a while I'll pour a glass, but it will sit there for a long, because I'm a social drinker, so I can't
Yeah.
just pour drinks at home. I don't know. That's just who I am. So,
Yeah,
and I never, yeah.
yeah.
And then when I do have the kids, I don't drink, when I have them. So, um,
Right.
my time is my time to do whatever I want and stuff. And,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. And then, that leads to the whole other subject of, date, being a single parent and trying to date, with kids.
Yes, and you know what? I'm actually going to. I haven't done it yet, but I do want to do an episode about that because, me and their father were not together, and so it's
Mhm.
just like, okay, like when's the right time, or like how do you even go about it? First, it's like I haven't really dated in a long time, so it's like, how do you,
Yeah.
and then with
Yeah.
kids, that adds a whole
It's,
nother element. You know what
oh,
I'm
for
saying?
sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely does, because one thing about what, like, well, since me and their mom have split, I haven't seriously dated anyone. At first I tried to talk to people. I wasn't in the right place. I
Yeah.
had to do a lot of work on myself and self growth, which I've been doing, which is better. And I recommend that to anyone. Don't just jump in a
Right.
relationship, especially when you have kids. Because you need to make sure you bring the right people. If you do end up
Yeah.
introducing them to someone, to make sure that's someone that's going to be around,
Right.
because you don't want to put kids a revolving door around kids, because that's not
Right.
good for them.
I totally
So
agree.
yeah, because and so and I haven't dated so long, like, and I feel like I'm ready now, but it's just like, you know, like I'm so over the dating sites, and I don't have
Right,
time. Like,
right, yeah.
I'm just like, it's the same mess. I'm just like, what? Like, hopefully things start to open up, get out a little bit more and naturally meet someone.
Yeah.
But I mean, the internet dating, it makes it easier to meet people, but it's a lot of stuff you got to deal with and go through. And I'm just like,
Yes.
I ain't got time for that. Can I
I
just meet,
know, I know. I
I'm
just
like,
had a coworker ask me this the other day. She's all like, "So how's dating?" I was like, I mean, I'm
yeah,
like over the
it's,
whole, it's just, I get it 100%. I'm
yeah,
over the whole online thing. It's like you really,
hmm
people, and
it's hard.
people can do
Yeah.
that in real life too, like put on a front, but I feel like people put on like a hella big ass front, like,
Oh, yeah.
online, like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
be like, how old? Like, are these current? Because I don't need pictures from
Right,
3 years.
right.
Like, what's she like? Trying to. I'd be like, I was like, I ain't got time for that.
Look,
But
it's
yeah,
gonna be
so
like
like,
in Friday when she pull up to the house. You'd be like,
yeah, right.
hold on.
You said, yeah, because I have a thing, like, if I start talking to someone, we'll start talking. I'm not in a rush. I always tell people up front, I'm not in a rush. We'll see what happens. My
Yeah,
schedule is, when I have my time for myself, that's the time when
right.
I can go out, when we can, when I have my kids, I may not be available to talk all the time. Like, I won't be able to go out. I'm not just going to
Hmm.
hire a sitter, because that's just not how I'm not going to leave my kids to go
Right.
out on a date.
Yeah.
Um, but and I say, like, once I get to the point with someone where where I'm ready to introduce you to kids, that's different,
Hmm.
because then you can be around when the kids are around. So it makes it, but people got to
Right.
be willing. A woman has to understand from the get go that they're number one, and my schedule, you're gonna have to try and work the
Right.
best
Yeah.
around, because I'm not gonna just my kids come first. So
Yeah, that's
it
real.
makes it tough, So I can see why people sometimes don't want to date people who have kids, because it is tough depending on the situation. So
Yeah.
me, I don't have a preference whether you have kids or not, because
Hmm.
when I didn't have kids, I've dated people with kids, so I understand both
Okay.
sides of the coin. So
Yeah.
um,
But see,
it's nice when you have a person you're dating that understands that and
yeah.
you get that. So
Right.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot goes into dating, especially. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think, well, prior to kids, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to date nobody with kids or whatever. But now I would prefer it just because then like they'll know like what it's
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah,
okay. And then I can see how you treat your kids. What's your relationship like with your kids? So then, I can kind of
exactly.
gauge how you're going to be with mine. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you have the patience to deal
hmm
with them or like whatever, not deal with them.
Yeah,
Like
because
that's
yeah,
something
exactly. You
different.
can
But
kind
you
of
get what
see
I'm
how they
saying,
are with.
right?
Yeah, exactly how they are with, like, if this is how they are with their own kids, then this is how they probably would be my kids. Like, you get a
Yeah.
feel for them. because someone without kids, you don't know how they
You
would
know,
be with
yeah,
kids or how
they
they,
probably don't
yeah,
even know. Hell, I
exactly,
didn't know. You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah, dating with someone with kids, they definitely understand where you're coming from. A lot of time, you can relate on a
Yeah.
lot of things. It's kind of probably gives you something in common. It
No.
just it makes it a lot smoother for them to understand that you're not going to be available all the time in the
Yeah.
beginning, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, yeah, because it's whoever and I've my daughter's actually brought this up with conversations.
Really?
Yeah, I get it all the time. Daddy, do you have a girlfriend? Are you gonna get married? Please.
What?
Yeah, no. She's like, she asked me. She's like, Daddy, if you get married, is that gonna be my stepmom, or what is a stepmom? And I was like, a stepmom is like if I were to get married, or your mother was to get married to somebody else, they're they're not your real dad, but they're your stepdad. Like you
Mhm.
still have to you'll obviously respect them and stuff,
Yeah.
but at the end of the, so you'll have essentially like two dads.
Mhm.
I told her, but I'm your dad. Like
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I was
Don't
like,
get it
I like,
twisted. Don't get it twisted.
yeah. I was like, you may have two dads because of that, but look, at the end of the day, I'm your dad. Okay, I love what that said because
That's
yeah, and
funny.
their mom's like, she's like, it should be. She's like trying to set like parameters of this, like it should be a year when at least a year before you introduce them. And I told her, I was like, I'm a pretty good judge. I think I would know the right time, whether it's a year or just under.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be any time within the first 6 months, of course, because that time is for me to get to know that person. It's like a
Exactly.
buildup,
Yeah.
because there's levels. There's levels of dating. So it's like
Mhm.
it would definitely be closer, probably to a year, because then we would know if we're serious with them. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because we've talked and she's introduced him to one guy,
Mhm.
which she's no longer with. Um, so the way I found out, she texted me ahead of time before the kids came to my house saying, before the kids tell you, I want to let you know that I introduced him. I had no
Yeah.
idea that this was happening. My thing as a single parent is like, at least let me know that you're going to do that and maybe
Yeah.
let me meet the person first. That's how I've always felt about even before I had kids. Like, let me meet the person first. But I guess she did her thing, which is fine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at least she told me before my daughter came and said, Daddy, this is,
Look,
I was
cause
like, what?
baby girl was
Like,
gonna tell all the tea, okay? She was.
exactly. She'll tell me all the tea. But yeah, so but she's no longer with that person. So, so that's like, I don't want to, my thing is like, yeah, I don't want to introduce them. I don't know
Yeah.
how long they were dating before she did that. That's not
Mhm.
my, I'm not in her business. I don't get in people's business. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
business. But
Yeah.
as long as, if she felt like it was a time, I trust her judgment with that around the kids, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So,
Yeah.
um, I haven't introduced them to anybody at all. So I was like, yeah, but she's asked me, like, so I was like, well, if your mom gets married, I break it down to her like that. Like she,
Yeah.
because she understands. I don't need to like break it down too much to like layman's terms for her to
Yeah, I
say,
mean,
but
if she's asking the question, she definitely understands
yeah,
or
yeah,
has some type of understanding of it, you know?
exactly. Yeah. So, well, we'll see what happens. And I always, and people always ask me the question, I get that question a lot. Do you want more kids? Are you
Yeah,
guys getting back together? Like they ask,
yeah,
I was like, first, I don't know. I don't like, and at first I was like, no. And then I think about it. I'm like, well, obviously someone around my age would probably have kids, but if someone
yeah,
doesn't have kids and they want kids, that's something I would probably have to think about depending on where I'm at
yeah.
in life and how old I am and my kids. I'm like, do I really want to be like I said, that old dad? I was like, probably not. I think
Yeah.
that's something those are things I would have to get out the way in the beginning, so we're not wasting each
Yeah,
other's
that's
time.
true. That's true. Because, I mean, that's like a big factor with some women, like they really want kids. And so it's like,
Exactly.
if you kind of
Yeah.
like, oh no, let me think about it.
Exactly.
It's like, if you got to think about, if it's not like, I feel like if it's not something that's already on your mind or that you're thinking about, then I think that's already a deciding factor already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's,
but
and like if I didn't have kids already, that'd probably be different. Maybe, if I really wanted to be a dad, I'd probably, yeah. But now that I've had two at once and I've gone through that, and I was like, do
yeah.
I really want to go
And
through changing diapers, waking up at 2 a.m. trying
look,
to feed? I was like,
and my thing is, I'm scared of having twins again. So,
that's my
I'm
thing. I
like,
was like, I was like, I don't know.
too,
I
like,
don't know anyone who has twins on my side. And I think she has some twins on her side of the family. I'm not sure, but I'm like, if it's me, I got that super seed. I'm like, I'm not trying to plant another super
you
seed and
feel
have
me? You feel me? I'm like, I can't go
I'm like,
from 0 to 4. Like, I just can't
exactly.
do
I'm
it.
like, that's I mean, one is a lot. Two at one time is just, and I can't. I'm like another two. I'm like, dude.
Right,
I was
right.
like,
So I think really that's like my main thing. I'm like, I
yeah.
can't. I don't
And
know if
my
I'll be able to handle that.
my daughter's like, Dad, they want a little sister. I was like, well, ask your mama, baby, because
Right.
I was like,
You
'cause
asking the
maybe
wrong parent.
yeah, I was like, maybe she wanted another kid. I don't know. Like,
Right.
I was like, I'm not trying. I don't know if I don't think I want it anymore. So I was like,
That's
man, that's a
funny.
lot.
So
So
I
I'm
know
just
you
like,
said like you have there's times where you have the twins for an extended period of time or like a week
mhm.
at least. And
Yeah, yeah.
so now for me, in which you would think I would, know how to do hair and all this stuff, whatever. But I don't. I'm learning, okay? Like I'm learning. It's not
Wait, what? You're not doing the hair? Ah.
like I could do ponytails like all day. My baby stay with ponytails. But like when it comes to braiding their hair,
Mhm.
like I'm learning, but it's actually good. Like I'm gonna have to post a picture because I did it the other day and I was really proud of myself. Like it was really cute.
Hey, well,
But
yeah, at least you learned it.
I'm learning. I got to because I can't have my girls out there like crazy,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
But so for you as a dad, like, are you trying to master doing your daughter's hair, or
At
like,
first, I
how's
told their
that
mom, I was
going
like,
for
look,
you?
yeah, like at first in the beginning, I told their mom, I was like, that's your department. I've never done hair. I don't have the dexterity for the
Yeah.
braid. I do it all. That's not me. Like, but lately, like as she's gotten, my daughter's gotten older, I'll wash, condition, comb
Oh,
her hair
see,
out.
that's the
I
main
will,
part right there.
yeah, I'll comb it out, and that's a task in itself because she has her mama's hair. So I was like, baby, I wish you had my
Yeah.
hair because it'd be so much easier for me. But she has beautiful hair. But so I'll wash and condition it, and I will comb it out and get it all tangles out. And that's, but then her mom
Yeah.
will do the braiding and stuff, or
Oh,
I can put
okay.
it in, a ponytail in a bun, and I think I,
That's
and
good.
I've kind of gotten down the little French braid. We have the three, and you kind of crisscross and you
Yeah,
make a
yeah,
little
yeah,
braid. Yeah. So I've kind of gotten that down, but it's nothing to where I would do her whole head. Like
yeah.
I will either if her mom can't, so if her mom can't do it, I have people who do hair that I'll pay to get her hair done. Like
Oh,
it's
okay.
yeah,
But you know
yeah. I'm
what?
not.
I'm really impressed that you do the wash and condition, that you have at least attempted that, because that's not easy. That's not
Yeah, no,
like, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
the, See, the washing and the conditioning is to me it's easy. It's just the after part where you got to have the right
Like
products for her hair. You got to
that
get it in
part.
there, and then you got to detangle, comb it, part it, and put that side, and then you got to have a
Yeah.
whole lot going. Yeah, because you don't want it to dry up and then they get more tangled. You got to get them out,
Yeah.
so you got to have
See,
So I had to
the
learn
fact that
that.
you even know this, Shawn, is like, it's very impressive, okay? You got to get in there. Like, if you don't, it dries up. I know
Yeah,
this. Like,
and then she's tender headed, so I got to really hold at the root so she doesn't feel it, so I can get the ends and the tangles. So it's a whole process. It's a couple hours at least. Like it's a lot. Like so I
yeah.
know like
And I got two, so.
yeah,
But
and
they
then I
don't
got to
have a
make
whole bunch
sure.
of hair yet, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's still growing.
they're gonna get there. Trust me, because she didn't have her hair just everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to wrap it at night. If it's done, you got to wrap it at night so it doesn't get messed up. So got
Yeah.
that whole process.
Yeah, we haven't got to that part yet because they just yanked that off.
Oh yeah.
I got them like these little bonnets or whatever. They're like, no, ma.
hmm
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
So I got to
yeah.
get
They
like a little do rag or something to tie it on there, but we're not there
yeah,
yet, so we don't get there.
she has a do rag and a bonnet sometimes, but she sleeps so wild. It like I don't like,
You
and
be way over
I
there.
try and tie it as tight as I can, but not like cutting the circulation off to her head.
Right.
But like however she sleeps, it still comes. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
but at
Okay,
least it
because that's
protects her
just,
hair at night. So
yeah, that's just the
yeah,
life of natural hair.
exactly.
That's just what happens. It's like a rite of
Yeah,
passage, You wake up and your
yeah, but
bonnet's way over there.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, I'll pay to get her hair done if I need to.
Okay. Well,
If
that's
her
good
mom
too.
can't do it. Yeah, I'll be like, I'll pay someone to do it. I ain't got time for that because I
Right.
am
This is
not
gonna be our daddy daughter day. We're gonna
exactly. Yeah, because yeah, it'll take. I mean, even when I get her hair done, I'm sitting there for like 3-4 hours. So, uh, it's
Yeah.
it's a whole process. So
It
I was
is.
like,
It
man,
is.
yeah,
But I'm
it definitely
impressed. I'm impressed with the amount that you do, because some fathers wouldn't even do that. They just be like, nah, that's all you, boo. Like you got that, mom. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no,
I'm impressed with that.
yeah, I can't have her, stepping. I told her the other day, I was like, baby, you're not stepping outside the house looking a hot mess.
Yeah.
Like,
So we're not
because
there.
she didn't want to do something to her hair, and I was like, nah,
Yeah.
you can't step out the house looking a hot mess. No, I told her, I was like, I was like, one, you're my princess and a queen in training. I was like, I'm not letting you step outside this house looking a
Yeah.
hot mess here, because that's a reflection on the parents too.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It is. I think so
so
too.
yeah. So I was like, I'm not gonna let you your head looking crazy. Like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm not that parent.
That's true. I
But
feel
no,
you on that
yeah,
though. I'm like, when they step out or like when they go, they just started daycare not too long ago. So when they go to school, I'm like, I don't want,
daycare.
yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Daycare is. I'm so glad honestly, I'm glad working from home now, because daycare is like a rent payment, especially if you have two. And then when they're younger,
Yeah.
it's more expensive. As
Yeah.
they get older, it gets a little bit cheaper, but it's not like it's.
It's really expensive. Well, here's the good thing. Here's the thing that saved me is that because I just recently moved back to California, and so everybody
Mm,
was like telling me about child action, right? And
yeah,
so I put myself on the list or whatever. I didn't get it there because someone had called and was just like, if you're not on any other type of assistance, the likelihood of you getting it is, you're not. You're just
yeah,
going to be on this list forever.
yeah.
So it was like some other program, California program, had called me, and I guess they got my name from the list, and they were like, hey, we have 2 slots open. The school's like 10 minutes from here. And I mean, it just worked out, and it was very affordable. And I was like, hold on, that's for both of them? Like, are you sure? Like,
Oh,
So I mean,
man,
that really saved me, And my mom, she watches the girls,
that's
but
good.
sometimes, she needs a break,
No, of
and
course, yeah.
I need a break. So they go for a couple days a week, just half days or whatever. But yeah, but they seem to really enjoy it. Like now they just run in there, like they don't even say bye or nothing. So I be trying to get all my hugs and kisses at the car, because once they
Yeah,
see the door, they're like, I did, So, but
exactly.
that's just expensive though. Like before I knew about all that, and I was just like randomly checking,
Mhm.
daycares, and I was like, I don't know how people do this. Like I don't know how people pay this.
It's yeah, exactly. I was like, dang, two, because we would split the cost, but still, even split, it's still expensive. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. And I'm just like, this is, oh my God, it's like a whole. So I'm glad. So hopefully, I'm hoping my job that we are working, they extend it to the end of the year, but hopefully they make it a choice, like where we can choose to stay at home, because I will, because I
Okay.
refuse to pay. I'm not paying childcare for another rent payment, like paying double the
Hmm.
rent. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
child, yeah, you got a child, especially the private ones out of the homes, those ones be expensive too. Like, there's some good ones I found, but they're just, one lady wanted 500 a week per kid.
Right. And I'm
I
like,
was
hold
just
on,
like,
I gotta times that by two. Oh
exactly. I
no.
was like, yeah, you tripping. I was like, dude, and I mean, just for my weeks, you know,
Yeah.
that's $2,000 a month. I'm
Mhm.
like, what? I was like, what? I was like, nah, we're not doing that. I was like, hey, I need my own child care. But
Right.
that's why, my mom lives on the East Coast. So it's like if she was here,
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, you about to come live with me?
Right.
Because
Right.
she would love to be, watching the kids and of course help me out. So like having family, like if you have family help you out, that's great, because then
Yeah.
you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about, because with daycare you got to make sure you can trust these people,
Mhm.
especially if it's a private in-home, like it's someone's house.
Yeah.
Who's coming and going, are
Uh
you
huh.
certified, what are you providing for the kids, what do you do, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, facilities are a little bit more easy, because that they have to be state certified, they got the
Right.
thing, but still, even there you still gotta.
You never
So
know.
exactly, so
You
it's
never
like
know.
a whole thing to go through, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't wait till they're old enough to be at home, like they can just chill by themselves, like,
Right.
oh
I got a little ways, but yeah.
yeah, you got.
Yeah, man. But
uh,
no, the family thing, the support, like, and that was one of the main reasons why I moved back to California. Because I was like, I was in Florida and I have no family out there. It was great because I was just, living my life, doing what I was
mhm.
doing and stuff. But I'm like, I want them to have some type of stability. And more importantly, I wanted them to have that relationship with my family. I didn't want it to
Exactly,
be
yeah.
like, it's so different, like doing Zoom and like, than getting a real hug in person. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah,
So,
because I want to take them out this summer to see my mom and their family on the East Coast. They haven't met them. My mom's been over here like once or twice out here to see them, so they know who she is.
okay.
And then their mom's family is down in SoCal, which she's thinking about moving to SoCal, because she, exactly like you want. She wants the family. She wants them to grow up with their family, to have a
Mhm.
relationship, which I totally get, and a lot of support down there.
Yeah.
So that's something I got to think about too now. And then, but yeah, I definitely want to take them out to see my family on the East Coast and meet
Yeah.
everybody and, start having those relationships.
Yeah. So, have you guys traveled before with the twins? Like, have you guys been on an airplane or just even like a road trip or something like
Oh
that?
yeah,
Like, how did that go?
yeah, we've been on road trips where we go down to SoCal with them, and those drives are long, so they're
Yeah.
either they're either passed out in the car or on a tablet or something, trying to keep them
Yeah.
busy. And if they need to, well, get food because now they're older enough, so they've been a couple times. So to them, it's and sometimes after a while they're like, "Are we there yet?" Like,
Yeah.
because they want to get out, they
Yeah.
want to get out of the car, they want to stretch because sit in the car for hours on end. For a
Yeah.
kid, it's like death sentence. Like they need to
Yes.
get out and move. They haven't been on a plane yet, but this summer we are going to Disney World. We're planning a trip for them to Disney
Oh,
World.
yay.
So that'll be their first time on a plane.
Yeah.
And the first time to Disney World, my time too. So my first time, so I'm having a ball too.
Okay. Yeah. You're like, watch
So
out, kids.
yeah. So and I think her family's going too. Her grandparents, her mom. So we'll have people
Oh,
to.
that's gonna be so fun. That's gonna be
Yeah.
nice.
So I told her mom, their mom. I was like, yeah. So after the day, the grandparents, they, may have to watch the kids because, dad may need a minute to relax and have his time to chill. Like,
Right, right.
I don't know, but it should be fun. It's definitely going to hit the pockets because Disneyland, and especially my daughter, she's going to see everything and want everything.
Right, I want that.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gearing up for that to have, so they can have, because I want to start taking them on trips. We're getting their passports made. So next year we're going to take a trip down to Mexico.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that'll be fun for them too to experience. Because I didn't do a lot of traveling like that when I was little. So
Yeah.
to be able to give them these experiences, while they're young and to have
Mm-hmm.
memories is really good. And then to have family there is fun as well too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
most
So
definitely.
I think it'll be fun for them to be on a plane because they've never been on a plane.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting for them.
Oh, that's gonna be so cute. I know
Yeah,
we
exactly.
when they were like 6 months, 5 or 6 months,
Mhm.
that was like our first plane experience. And let me tell you, I was really nervous because I was like, I don't know how they're gonna react. And sometimes when they're babies and their ears, because of the altitude changes and all that stuff, and it's like, their ears could be affected by it. And
Exactly.
I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just hope everything's good. But they slept the whole freaking way. Like they were
Oh.
good. They were straight. Like I was up there like packing. I was like, okay, what do I need? Just making sure I
Yeah.
had everything. But those babies, as long as I had that bottle ready, they were good. As soon
Oh,
as they woke up, give them the
that's good.
bottle, they'll go back to sleep. So
Oh, there you go. That's good.
yeah,
Because like babies that small, it's like you got when you got to change them, you got to get up and take them, and
yeah.
then
Oh my
if
God, yeah,
if they're like up and crying and making a lot of noise, and it's like
yeah.
some people will get annoyed. I wouldn't care because
I
people will
know
get
that,
annoyed, but yeah,
and
I'd
I'm
be like they're
like,
babies, like
that's what they do. They cry. Like,
exactly. Because I was like, yeah, so yeah, we haven't traveled. We never traveled on a plane with them that small because then that's I think that's a lot more now where they're able to, they'll be their own little person. You know,
yes,
just they'll get on, they'll be in the window, they'll be like, oh, asking a million
exactly.
questions, and yeah,
And
so that'll
and
be
that's
fun.
what I'm gonna wait until like I start doing like those kind of trips too. Like I
Hmm.
already got their passport just because with everything that was going on, like I don't know if we need to dip out or what.
Right? Yeah.
But that just came in January, so it's pretty recent. I just got those, but yeah, I do. I definitely want to take them on like more trips and things like that. Because just like you, when I was younger, I didn't travel a lot. Like I was on my first plane ride. I think I was like 18, 19. And then like my first international trip, I was like 27, but that was because of my job. So it wasn't even
Yeah.
like it was something that I planned to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So look, when I'm there, I'm like, I'm gonna take advantage of all this.
Exactly.
But I really want to be able to give that to my girls at an earlier age because I mean, it's such an eye opener, one, and I feel like it's a great educational tool as well. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? It's
Definitely.
like if you learn about China or somewhere else in school, like that's great and all, but you're getting this information from someone that's probably never even been there themselves. And so it's just like, if I can give that to them, like, all right, this summer we're going to China, like all the stuff you
Yeah,
learned about, you can actually touch it, feel it, and all this stuff.
exactly. Like
So
experiencing different cultures in person than through a book or,
yeah,
in a
yeah,
classroom. It's totally different. Like,
yeah.
and for that, yeah, for them to have those experiences and different things, like as they grow up in memories is definitely better. Yeah. I think they'll be around the same. I think I was like 8 or 10 when I took my first plane ride. And I was by myself.
Oh
It was
man, look
awesome
at
though.
you.
But yeah, uh, but yeah, I haven't been international yet, so that's definitely something I want to do. I mean, Mexico isn't really international to me because it's like right there. You can just go.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's still an international trip,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's true.
It's
That's
it's
true.
different. It's not the U.S.,
Uh,
so you good.
yeah, yeah. I think I want to take them to Europe too. Paris or England, like to like
Yeah,
go because
yeah.
I've wanted to go over there. I do want to go to Greece. Take them to Greece, but
Hmm.
the place I want to go is like it's so beautiful. It's like I feel like that's like for me and my wife in the future to go
Right,
to.
right.
So yeah,
Like, we gonna pass on that one,
right.
y'all.
Like
Like,
it's
daddy holding
like
on to
it's
this one.
yeah, for real. Yeah. So yeah, and then they're God. Well, Mike Thomas
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
Valley.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So that's their godfather.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
So so I was actually just talking to him yesterday. So yeah, I think he's trying to, he obviously he has no kids. He's 6, so he can go everywhere. So he's
Yeah.
like, I think he was going to go down to Costa Rica for a little bit or Asia for a little bit. I was like, look, man, wherever you set up shop, let me know. Me and the
Right,
twins will
right.
cut. Me and the twins will make an appearance.
Right. Look, I'm not mad at it. It's good to have those connects in other places too, because then
Oh man, for real.
he's really gonna know where like all the good stuff is.
Oh
The
yeah,
good eats, the
Mike,
good,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. He'll know where it's at. Like he'll know where to go. And yeah, so I'm actually supposed to link up with him, I think Thursday. So
Oh,
um
cool, cool. Well, tell him
yeah,
I said
so
hello.
I definitely will. I definitely will. He can yeah, because he had to get actually he got my daughter a gift card to Target. These are like late Christmas gifts that they and,
Right.
yeah, and then he got my son a game and my daughter's like, oh, you got me a gift card? Can you bring it today?
Right.
Like and then as soon as I dropped her off to her mom's house, like she's like, "Hi, mom, I miss you. Can you call Uncle Mike because he's got to bring my gift card?" So I was like, "Dang, girl!" Like I was
Right.
like, "Oh, she's like, look, I have my gift card. There's money on it. We need to go ahead and use that." I was
Right.
like, "Oh my lord!" I'm like,
Look, she's like, I gotta go do some shopping, okay?
for real.
I don't know
She
what
was
y'all
like,
talking about.
man. I was like, "Look, baby, you need to get a job. You need to get a job with all these lists you got going." I
Okay.
was like, "It's ridiculous."
That's
But yeah,
funny. So I have another
life.
question about
Yes.
so we like when you guys were pregnant with the twins.
Mhm.
I keep wanting to say with the girls because I'm so used to saying the girls.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. But when she was pregnant with the twins, like did y'all get annoyed by like the questions people would ask? Like there's one that I feel like I wasn't personally annoyed by it, but I just felt like it was
Mhm.
hella intrusive. Like when people be like, "Oh, is it natural or is it IVF or like, you know what I mean?" Like people ask me that
Yeah.
all the time, and I was just like, I feel
I
like
guess
I
maybe because
know.
a lot of people these days do it that way, but I don't know if maybe she got those, but I wasn't there when she
Well, with
got them
her when
because
she, yeah,
yeah. So like I don't. People never ask me that question like was it natural or like in
that's true. I guess that
IVF?
is more of like a mom question. You're
Yeah,
right.
because I was like I never like people never asked me that. She's never mentioned that people asked it, but I don't know if they ever did because I was like yeah I've never gotten that like if it was
Yeah, and I
natural or
just was
not.
like,
If
I don't
someone
know. That's
did
kind
ask
of
me, I would probably look at him like, "You think I would naturally want two at the same time?" Like, like, yeah, doctor, go ahead, hit me with that double real quick.
right.
I'm like, no, like it's not gonna
That's
happen,
funny.
Yeah, it's like
But
it happened naturally. So I was
yeah, I
just,
mean, but people ask that all the time, and I'm just like, I mean, I get why, like you said, like now it's kind of a common thing for people to do it, but
mhm.
it's just like, what difference does it make?
It
Or
doesn't.
like
It's
if they
your,
ask, like if they're fraternal identical, like what difference does it make? Does it mean something more if they're identical or if they're fraternal or And I'm just like,
yeah, because so I heard someone say one day they're like, I think twins should only be referred to as twins if they're like identical. I was like, no. I was like, why? Just because they're twins because they're born at the same time, the same day.
Right.
Like they're like that's what like what are you supposed to do with fraternal? Like, oh, we're brother and sister. When's your birthday? Oh, we have the same birthday. Like that's
Right.
being a
That's what.
twin. Like I was like,
Right.
I was like, that don't make any sense. I was like, wow.
No, at all. Like, and people, I don't know, they're just like so fascinated by it, which is fine. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy talking about my babies. I really do. But
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
just like that one question. It was just like weird because people just, oh, are they?
But even if it's IVF, isn't that's using your own eggs and like they're just
Yeah,
putting?
like they're still your babies and all this stuff. It's still the,
Yeah.
the father and the mother and stuff. But
It's
my
just
thing
they're
is
putting.
that, yeah, like they actually put it in your womb.
So
Kind
it's
of thing.
technically it's still kind of it's not natural, but it's egg. It's still
Yeah,
my
it's
egg. You know
still
what I mean?
exactly. It's not like, yeah, exactly. It's not like a
Yeah.
surrogate situation or anything. But
Exactly. Yeah.
and my thing with it, I guess the reason why I found it, I guess, kind of problematic or whatever, is because like you don't know what that person's journey was. Because a lot of times when people do IVF, it's because they have struggled with conceiving. You know what I'm saying? And so
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
I could have been like having a hard time or something, and like you just never know. That's
Exactly.
why I felt like it was kind of insensitive for people just to be like, it's a natural
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Exactly. Like you
and
don't know what
almost
someone's going through.
yeah, and almost if I said it wasn't natural, it'd be like, oh, they're not real twins. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like it's kind of dismissive, you know? But no, mine were
Some
natural because,
people.
like you said, I was not planning on it at all.
Right?
So
Yeah. Like it's. I was like, man, I'm just like, I don't need another. I was like, man, I don't want to take that chance. I'm like, shoot.
that's funny.
Yeah. I
So
was like, man.
do you think you gained like sympathy weight? Like, have you heard about that? Like, the guy will gain weight along with the girl as well.
I think I did a little bit. I think I get well when they were little. I think I did put on a little bit more weight, but I think I put a lot of weight on this past year because of just being at home, sitting down, COVID,
Yes.
DoorDash is my best friend. Like, like that's where I put on a lot of weight. Oh, but the kids are older now. But in the beginning, I think I may have put on a little bit of weight. I don't remember. I think I did start to gain a little weight. Just because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my life was just kids and work and just
Yeah. It's
I was just exhausted.
so funny. Yeah. Well, for me, like in the beginning, for whatever reason, the first, I would say month or so of my pregnancy, I was eating, but I wasn't eating a whole lot. So like their dad would make food or make dinner or something. I wouldn't eat the whole thing. I was just like, oh, I'm good.
Mm,
Like I just felt really full or whatever. And then, so he was always eating my leftovers and shit.
yeah.
So yeah, that's how he gained his weight. He blames me. I'm like, no, nobody told
Yeah.
you to eat all my leftovers. Like I wanted to save
Right.
it for later.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, because like because like it's and especially last year it was tough to even I couldn't work. I'm gonna go to I'm a gym type of person like where I need to like
yeah,
I can't. I'm not a workout at home. Some people can do it. I can't. So I gained a lot of weight just sitting at home and then being with the
yeah,
kids and so now I'm trying to get a healthier lifestyle going. Not only for my benefit but for their benefit too.
yeah,
To
yeah, for
setting.
sure.
I mean, I want to be here for them and set a good example for them and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then when your daughter comes up to you and says, "Dad, you're fat," you gotta you gotta take that. You can't say that. You just gotta take that L. You're like,
Right. I'd be
damn.
like,
Like,
dang.
it comes from my
I know,
life like
baby. I
that.
know.
Shit
I
come
wasn't
from my
always
life.
like this.
Yeah, right. All right. I'm like, I wasn't always like this. Ask my mama. She knows.
Right, right. I'm Eloise.
But,
Right, you're right.
no, but it definitely. I mean, I did gain some weight like in the beginning there when they were first born, and and then when she was, I don't know, like she was pregnant. Yeah, I probably, she was eating. I don't know. I was eating. I always love food, so
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would have gained weight regardless. So I was just like, but yeah, so, but yeah, so but now I'm trying to. I got to work that weight off plus that weight plus whatever I accumulated last year sitting
Yeah,
down
this is
doing
true.
nothing.
This is,
Like
yeah.
I think everybody gained weight during
That's
COVID.
what
I
I was
don't
gonna
see why.
say. Last year,
Like
you know what? It just threw everybody off. Okay.
yeah,
I was doing
everyone.
good. I was doing really good, and I'm like, okay, let's get back in it. 2021 is gonna be a good year, Shawn. I think we
Like
got
when you
this.
keep, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because like if I can't go anywhere, nothing's open to go anywhere. I'm just sitting at home and then I order. Like yeah, I'm gonna fucking gain weight because
Right.
some people I'm not a workout. I've never been a workout ahead in person. I try. It's not my thing.
It's not
I
the
need to go.
same. Yeah.
I need to go. I need to go to that gym. I need to put the work in. Like
Yeah.
now I'm at. Now I'm kind of like okay, maybe I I did. I used to work at a gym, so I have a buddy who became a personal trainer, which he works out of his
Oh,
house now.
cool.
So he has a setup there. So I'm like, okay, that'll probably have to be for
Yeah,
me now,
yeah,
because I was like,
yeah.
this weight, this, you know, because I was like, man, I'm getting big. I was like, it's the biggest I've ever been. I'm like, damn, what the
Same
hell?
here. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
these
I
numbers
was
are
like,
wrong.
right? I was like, man, I was like, you know what I'm saying? I can't be no big single dad out here. I gotta get my sexy back. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I can't,
Right. Let them know I still got it out here, you know?
right? Can't be out here looking like a hot mess. I was like, man, I gotta start. I was like, this is
That's
not cool. So
funny.
I gotta start working out. I was like, cause I can't, especially for them, because I want to be able to still move, do things with them, and have the energy. And
Yeah, exactly.
and when when you have a healthy lifestyle, you do have that energy. You can do a lot of things. I don't want to just be that
Hmm.
parent that tells them, oh, daddy's tired right now. Because
Right.
if I
Yeah.
say, if you say that, I would feel so bad to tell my kid, like, oh, daddy, let's go out and play. Like, oh no, like, I don't want to, I don't want
Yeah.
to be that. I
Yeah.
want to be like, all right, let's go out and get out and
Yeah,
do
that's
something.
true. Yeah. And we got to lead by example too. So if they see us
Exactly.
eating healthy and being fit and, just living a healthy lifestyle or whatever, that's going to
Yeah,
translate to them doing that too on their own,
exactly.
So
Exactly. So
hopefully,
I
yeah.
gotta give that good example to him.
So how would you say that fatherhood has changed your life or changed you in any type of way? How does
it's
that look for you?
definitely it's definitely changed how I perceive, like, the world, like, because I know what's out there, and, like,
Hmm.
I think I've become, uh, like, I'm always alert to my surroundings now. I mean, I've always, but even more, like, what's going on, like, where my kids are with me. If we're going somewhere, I'm always
Yeah.
making sure they're right next to me, like, they're not leaving my side, like,
Hmm.
they're in front of me, walking in front of me, or right next to me, holding my, like, I become a lot more, aware of what's, around in my surroundings when we go
Yeah.
out. And also my view of, like when it comes to me, like, how I treat, I've always been a respectful person towards women, so I haven't had that
Right.
issue.
Yeah.
But just setting that a good example for my daughter, like, of
Hmm.
what a man should do, shouldn't do, how she should be treated,
Yeah.
is definitely, you know, and then because you have men who just talk about women in a certain way, or think
Hmm.
about women a certain way, and I've had those friends, who've just, done stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, but then when you have a daughter, like, you go from being a
Shit
single
changes.
bachelor,
Hmm.
yeah, and you go to having a daughter, it's like, damn, like,
Yeah.
like, your whole mindset has to change,
Yeah.
like, you have
Yeah.
to change. You can't, so you have to be mindful of a lot of more things. um and you want to set a good example for her of how men should be, and how a woman should be treated. So I've definitely been more on, making sure she knows that,
Hmm.
how she should be treated, how she should be spoken to. I tell her, like, you're my princess, that's how you're going to be treated, because she should be. So
Yeah.
um because I don't want her to be I don't want her to misconstrue something, um with, when she's older, as something like, how, because some women out there, they mistake, men acting or putting them down, or being a certain way, speaking to them a certain way, they construe that as love based on what they've learned. And
Yeah.
I want her to, I don't want her to have to go through that, because when it comes to my kids,
Right.
I
Right.
wish I scorched the earth, because I let her come and tell me one day some guy did something, so
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
it's
be
gonna
like,
be
look,
on and
baby.
popping out.
I'll be like, I tell her right now, I'm like, look, babe, when you get older, someone does something, so look, daddy gonna put him 6 feet under. And I tell her that
Right,
today.
right.
She know I'm not playing. Like, even and then with me, I don't just have two daughters or two sons, because when you have two sons, I feel like you can be one way with them, and, certain from a man's, and but then when you have a
Yeah.
daughter, it's different. You can't like teach your son or things as like a man, a man, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you can't teach him the same things that you would teach her.
Hmm.
But since I have one of each, I have to find that
You gotta
balance.
balance. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have to find that balance. Like, if I'm teaching him something or showing him something, I have to show her, why am I doing this here? And I have to find the, like, equal to what I would teach her, like, in that same
Right,
area.
yeah.
So it's like, it's always a balancing game of how to, how to be treated, how to treat people,
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's not like I just have girls where I can teach them one thing or what to watch out for. I have
Mm-hmm.
boys too, because men need to watch out for, boys growing up, they need to watch out for certain things too. It's not, no, women have a lot to watch out for as a young woman, even as as women, grown women,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta watch out for a lot. Because women are, a lot more vulnerable sometimes in certain situations, and there's
Mm-hmm.
things you got to look out for that women have gone through, you know, throughout life that
Yeah.
that could affect them. So she's gonna know the game and know what to watch out for. She ain't gonna be and then he's
Right.
gonna, but then he's got to watch out for things too, because women do things too, just like men do,
Mm-hmm.
So he's got, I gotta, this is what you should expect as a man from a woman who's gonna be good to you and stuff like that. And I teach him, like, when they get to fights, it's like, I was like, look, you don't use your words first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I tell him, I was like, you never put your hands on a woman. That's your sister. You don't hit her. You
Yeah.
use your words or you come and talk to me, but you
Yeah.
don't hit a woman. You don't hit a girl. You don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell her, I was like, you can't just go and hit him for no reason.
Right.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
like, don't do that. Like you use your words or
Yeah.
come and talk to me, because I told them, I was like, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Right.
And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And then she went to hit me with her hand, like kind of playing. And then
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Pop!" I was like, "You see that? You see that reaction?" I was like,
Yeah.
"See what happens?" I was like, "So you can't just go and hit people for no reason." I was
Right.
like, "So it's like," I was like, because I was like, because like I was like, some men out there, they don't care. They'll put their hands on a woman, and that's not
This is
cool. So
real. Yeah.
yeah, so and I, so there's it's a lot of things, and I feel like there's more I'm gonna have to teach her. Her mom will cover a lot too, but from a
Mm-hmm.
man's perspective, I
Right.
feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot more for me to tell her and for her to watch out for than with my son. Because
Yeah.
I was a young kid, grew up in my 20s. I have no care in the world. I doing the most. I was out there.
What?
So I didn't, but now that I'm a father and I'm older, I definitely, working on myself. I definitely know what I want in my life, what to bring around the kids in my life as far as another person in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely becoming more particular about that. But yeah, just, raising her to like how to be treated, what to watch out for. And that, we'll continue that as she gets older,
Yeah,
and as,
exactly. Because
yeah.
there's always something that we got to be teaching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And I
it
mean,
just never stops.
it never stops. And then, today's a lot of kids are on YouTube, so they'll see a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I gotta monitor what she watches or sees on TV, and
Mm-hmm.
you gotta, if she has questions, I'm like, well, where'd you hear that or where'd you see that? Then I have to explain things, and I try to explain it. Certain things you have to explain in certain ways. You don't want to get too, like, depending on what she asks,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like if we're watching a show and like they, like even in kids shows these days, they're like go to kiss each, something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, Emmy, look away, look away. You know,
We're not
like
ready
I
for this
joke,
yet.
I'll joke with her and she laughs and so on, but she knows that they're kissing. She's seen me and her, their mom, when they were little. So kiss,
Yeah.
not like just like a little kiss, nothing like
Yeah,
intense or nothing
yeah.
like that. But yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So it's like I feel, but she's very bright, so I think she catches on pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
so I don't feel like I would have to break a lot down to her as she gets older. She would
Yeah.
understand. So, and she's not afraid to ask, quite, like, if she needs to know something, she'll ask me like a million questions. Well, why? Why did I do this?
Right.
So yeah. So it's yeah, with her, I think she's very smart, so she picks up on a lot really quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely changed my, how I how I view women, and it's like what kind of person I want in my life as my significant,
Mm-hmm.
like in a relationship, because I
Yeah.
think about my daughter and what kind of woman I'm going to bring around her, because
Yeah.
that's, because
That's
I'm
real.
not
Yeah.
like, yeah, like what is she going to represent to her? How is she going to, like, how are her actions going to affect my daughter, and
Right. Right.
what kind of image is that going to in what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I can't even think of the word now.
Influencer, how her
Yeah,
actions will
yeah,
influence her,
yeah,
kind of. I
yeah.
know you're thinking of
Impact
another
her.
word, but I can't.
Yeah,
I got you. But
yeah,
influence was the one that I could just came up with right
yeah.
now.
Like,
But I
how's that
got
going to?
you.
Yeah, how's that going to impact her as a young girl growing up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of when kids are little, they go by what they see a lot of the time. So
Hmm.
I have to have someone that's going to be, mindful of that, respectful. You gotta, there's a lot of items to take into account. So Um, so it's that, being a father definitely changes you, how you look at the world. Like, me, I think I worry a lot more now about certain things that I
Yes.
never,
Oh my gosh.
like,
I'm like, I never had to worry about this before. Like, I would just go do all types of, not crazy stuff, but you know what I mean? It's like
exactly,
you didn't even think about like the danger in a lot of the stuff that you were possibly doing. And now I'm thinking the danger in just little random shit. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, what if something
ex-
happens to me? Or like, who's gonna take care of
exactly,
my
yeah,
babies? Like, like, yeah, I'm just
exactly.
like, yeah, I'm
And then
definitely
like,
that way.
my mind will just like go like to like just the like different scenarios. Like, you watch all these movies about stuff happens, and like, man, if my daughter went here on a trip, like, nah, I'm coming with you, because like I'm
Yeah.
like not. Because like, what if cut other countries? It's like, what if someone tries to snatch you up? And I'm like, see,
Right, right.
all this stuff goes through my head. I'm like,
I
yeah,
know,
no.
I know. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, like, just the fact, like, when I go on like my work trips and stuff, like, I
Mm,
used to just now thinking back, I'm like, oh my god, like, I could have easily been snatched up somewhere in another country, like, you know what I'm
right?
saying? Like, Michelle, like, what were you thinking? Like, now I think about, okay, like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. I don't want to do, like, I really am mindful of a lot of things. And even just like
Yeah,
when we're out in public, like how you were saying, you're more aware of like your surroundings and your situation. That's like a real
mm,
thing. Cause I'd be like looking at
exactly,
people like, okay, don't get too close to my
man.
babies. Like,
Right?
you look a little suspect. No, it's like, but you
Exactly.
do become more aware of your surroundings where when it was just us, it was just you,
Yeah,
you just move freely in the world. Like
exactly.
you're just doing but
Now
you
you
got
got
two
two other
little
ones to
ones.
worry. Yeah, you got to worry
Yeah.
about those. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So this is gonna
Oh
be my
man.
last question to you.
Okay.
Do you have any advice or any tips on fatherhood for any fathers to be or guys that are fathers already or twin dad advice, just anything like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, one, make sure you're ready for kids. Like, make sure that's what you want. You're prepared for that, because it's not, the kids. It's not their fault they're here. Just make sure
Yeah.
as a parent that if you do make a choice to have a kid, make sure whether you're together or not, make sure you're there for your kids. Because
Yeah.
I can't imagine like thinking like how I could not ever be in my kid's life. Like
Hmm.
like men who choose not to be. Like, how
Yeah.
could you sit there, go through life, knowing you have a kid out there, but you're not involved? Like, because that affects kids a lot. Growing
Yeah,
up
it
without a parent,
does.
especially a father. So I could never be that dad that. So if whether you were ready or not, or was planned or not planned, if you decide to have that kid, you make sure you're there for
Yeah.
them all the time. And it's good to have, also, especially with, when you have for twin dad, it's going to be rough in the beginning. Like, you're not going to have any sleep. You're going to be getting up every hour feeding. Like, you're going to be
Hmm.
like a zombie basically
Yeah.
until like, and that's going to last a while. It's going to be changing. Like but as you go through the process and you start to get like the rhythm to it, a routine. Definitely
Hmm.
get a routine down, because having a
Yeah.
routine makes something so much easier. And as you get the hang of it and you get that routine down, it does become easier, because you kind of flow through it. You're not like, oh, I got to do this, oh, this, and like you
Yeah.
don't feel
Yeah.
scatterbrained.
Hmm.
um so yeah, if you have a routine down, it definitely helps, especially your twins, because
Okay.
you're like bam, 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 bam,
I
like
agree with you
you know
100%. Yeah.
and then, as where my twins are at, we have a routine for the week. Like, it's school, they get a break after school while I work, and then after work it's homework time. Then it's dinner time, and then it's
Hmm.
bath time,
Yeah.
and then brush teeth in the bed. So, and once you get your kids, whatever age they are, whether they're newborns or 6 or 7,
Hmm.
um, once they get used to that routine, then
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier, because they'll be used to this. Okay, this is happening. This is what's going on. This is what. So it makes your process so much smoother and easier.
Uh-huh.
And bedtime is the best time.
Yeah.
Okay, bedtime is the best time, because that's when they're little. That's when you're with them. That's your time, is basically after bedtime. If you're if
Hmm.
you're if you still have the energy to be up, because when I have them, they like to sleep in my bed with me. So I swear that's like the best sleep I get, because they snuggle next to me and I'm like
Yeah,
all warm.
yeah.
And like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put them to bed, and then when they pass out, I can no, I will pass out with them, and then that'll be a wrap.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely gets it's definitely important, if you're not with the other parent, if you're not together, definitely, it's, you know, it may be tough at first. You know, for me, it took us to build that up. It's a good co-parenting relationship,
Yeah.
because if you have that, you know, when the kids see that, because, you know, if you don't have a good co-parenting relationship and you're going back and forth at each other, and that affects the kids too.
Yeah.
It definitely affects them, and you don't want that negative effect on them. So if you have a solid co-parenting relationship, and as I said, you may not have that at first. You may have to build to that, which, you know, we had to as well. But now we're good. We have a great. The kids are much more happier, and as long
Yeah,
as they
that's
know that
great.
yeah, you know, and as long as they know that, you know, they're loved in both households, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter that you're, you know, you're not together. But, you know, the solid co-parent relationship is definitely it's definitely a necessary foundation to have if you're
Yeah.
not with that person, because it makes everything a lot easier, you know,
Yeah.
especially for the kids. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I agree with
it's
that
definitely.
100%. Well, Shawn, let me just tell you, I have really enjoyed this conversation with you. It's like
Oh, definitely.
someone gets me, they know the struggle, okay?
I definitely know the
But-
struggle. Yeah, if you ever, you know, if you're gonna, I'm definitely down to come back on your podcast anytime. Just let me know for
Yeah,
future
thank
episodes.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I really
definitely.
do appreciate you just this taking the time out to do this. Honestly, I was like, I wonder if he would do it. You know, like I said, I
Yeah.
was like looking for you, but I was looking under the
Oh, for
wrong
sure.
name.
Yeah.
But I found you. I found you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But thank you again. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, of
And
course.
again, if you want to go ahead and throw out your social media, how people can reach you, you can go ahead and do that now.
Yeah. So I'm most reachable on Instagram, bearded_gent 521. Obviously, 521 is my baby's birthday, so that's not just a number I throw out there. But yeah, you can reach me on social media that way. You know, follow me, message me. Anyone can get a hold of me that way. The best way to get a hold of Instagram.
All right, awesome. Thank you again. And y'all, if you have any questions, any suggestions on this topic or anything you might want to ask Shawn, or something that I may have left out, a question that, you know, like, how did you forget that one? I don't know. Sometimes I'm scatterbrained. But go ahead and leave us a comment, suggestions, and I could be reached at Raising Noire Twins on Instagram and also Raising Noire Twins on Facebook. So again, thank you, Shawn. This has been so much fun. Just
Oh, of course, definitely.
having this dialogue and just catching up, you know, like it's been
Exactly.
forever.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So take care and thank you
You
again and
too.
have a good night.
Of course. You too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.